Who wants to get us kicked off with what we covered yesterday?
We kind of got into VS Code and writing HTML and learning about tags and things.
Awesome, awesome. What else did we do? How are we feeling about HTML so far? What's been challenging about it? What's been fun? All of that stuff.
I kind of enjoy it a little bit more than the previous exercises that we've done. I kind of like it a little bit more. I
Awesome.
think doing the prep work helped, a lot with like understanding, you know what I mean?
Awesome. Yeah, one approach that we are taking is very project oriented, which is like let's just dive in head first, right? Like we are going right into like, hey, we're gonna give you a little concept background, but what we're really gonna do is learn by doing, right? We're just gonna start using HTML. And for some people, that's great because learning styles are just like they just have to understand why they're learning it and use it through a project and dive in that way. If you don't learn using that learning style, that's where the homeworks are meant to kind of supplement, right? And say, all right, well, maybe you may learn by learning the concepts a little bit more and understanding what the tag is used for before you use that tag. So the free code camp is meant to kind of supplement that. And so we will try and continue to share resources in the daily outlines just to make sure that we're covering it well. One of the things that we're covering tonight is the Bootstrap grid. And that's one of those topics where I'm like, I could teach this and I could come up with slides for it, but I bet there's someone else who could explain it better. And so we'll actually be using a video in tonight's class going over the grid, learning it. And if you get through that video and you're like, I have no idea what that guy was talking about, the screen share wasn't explaining it, that's all right. We're going to dive into it and cover it live as well, right? So technical concepts often take multiple times to sink in. And so that's completely all right, right? So we give you a chance. Sometimes we pull in an expert. Sometimes we will go over that again and we'll play around with it in class and give you guys a chance. And then, the third opportunity is homework and rewatching the class and trying to figure out those concepts. And if you're still not sinking in at that point, always feel free to reach out. I've started a couple one-on-ones with students and have you guys scheduled for the rest of the week, which is awesome. So just remember that support is there as well. Wayne, I saw your note about night shift killing you. Is that night shift a software or to change your display, or night shift in terms of working late? You're muted, Wayne.
Yeah, I just recently switched over to night, so it's my body's not taking it well.
Yes, gotcha. Yeah, it is definitely an adjustment. I normally work a 9 to 5 job and then come on and teach, and it's like I put so much
Hmm.
energy into teaching, and then at the end of the night, it's like, oh my God, I'm tired. That was a lot of learning. So I can only imagine going on after that and working the night shift. But definitely feel free to try and adjust your schedule as much as possible. If it comes up, if you find that you need to be late to class or that you need to be a little late on homeworks, we are completely flexible on learning and schedule there. But it's a boot camp, so it's tiring for everyone. I don't want you to feel like it's just you. This is definitely an intense program.
And then yesterday I had my son, he was sick, and it was just a rough day yesterday. So I was like, okay, what the hell? But
Definitely feel you there, and I know there's a lot of sickness going on. I think there's a cold going around in upstate New York. I've had a couple friends tell me that they've gotten sick as well. So towards the end of the week, we'll actually put out a poll about staying completely virtual, going back into common space, masking policy, all of that stuff. So we will try and be as flexible as possible on our policies as well.
all right.
Anything else from last week? I'm sorry, from yesterday
Yeah.
that we covered that you found interesting, that you struggled with, any of that?
I was gonna say the importance of labeling your information. I mean, the thing we created yesterday, where it's desktop week 2, day 1, and then the index HTML, and everyone was supposed to download Chrome.
Yes. Yes. So great note there. We will be continuing using that file structure. If you find a different file structure works for you, that's completely fine. But what we are going to do now is a little setup before we kick off class and get into any new concepts. If you haven't downloaded Chrome yet and set that as your default browser, get a jump start on me right now. Go ahead and just do a search for download Chrome in Safari and follow those steps to get it installed. As soon as you open it, it should give you a prompt to set it as your default browser. Hopefully you had a chance to do that for homework. What we are going to do is we're going to get 2 new extensions set up in VS Code. One is so that you can live share my code with me, and so as I'm typing, you'll be able to get like a Google Doc style of what I'm in and be able to copy and paste from there and all kinds of fun stuff. And the other one is live server. So I'm actually going to kick off our screen share and dive into that unless anyone had comments for last week.
Yes, Max, I do. Is there a way that, because for some odd reason I cannot figure out where I screwed up my code at and it was mind-boggling. Is there a way for me to like scrap it and start fresh?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to, you can just hit Command A and delete out the contents of that entire file. Or you can delete the file and start a new one and start fresh from there. I will say, if you think that it is at all recoverable, feel free to DM me the code or put it in the live stream channel. And when we have a second, I will go through and see if I can find any issues. But
Okay.
sometimes you do just need to scrap it and start over fresh, and that's also completely fine.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for last week?
You mean yesterday?
Yesterday. Keep saying that.
Sorry.
Sorry, my brain will work up. I will get back into teaching mode, I promise.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, but I'll watch the video
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, and I would say, a lot of programming is learning about how to do things asynchronously, right? And leaning on your team. So if you do have a list of questions, feel free to drop them to me in Slack as a direct message, or in the students channel, right? If you think that other people would benefit from the answers to the questions, feel free to throw them in the students channel. Otherwise, always feel free to DM me with questions. I try not to, I open the door a little bit a crack for answering questions at the beginning of class, but I also don't want to slow people way down with them. So if you've got a list, it's probably better shoot them to me in Slack, and I will try and work through them, beginning of every morning or at the end of class, and try and catch up and answering them.
Okay.
Okay, let's dive in. So I'm going to share my screen here. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up VS Code. So if I do a command space and type in VS Code, it should pop open VS Code. It doesn't matter what's up quite yet. What we are going to do is click on the little extensions button over here on the left. And we are going to do a search for live share and just hit enter there. You're going to see several options, and what you want is the top one, 8.1 million downloads. You don't want the one with the A at the end of it. That's for audio, and they've got like a bundled version of it. Go ahead and click install on live share. And while that's installing, live server should be down here with 20.3 million downloads. Go ahead and install that one as well.
Hold on, I need to. Did I get VS Code?
Wait, I'm just going to mute you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the second one that you said to install?
Live server, it should be the 4th one on the list.
Thank you.
Okay, once we get both of those installed, you'll see there's a little icon over here on the right. So if you click on that icon, and then click on, when you click on this icon, do you guys get a share and a join option? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, you don't have to follow along with these steps. This is just me getting set up. Although if you would like, actually, I take it back. You should follow along with these steps. So I'm going to go back to my File Explorer. I'm going to go to File, Open Folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my desktop and C3 My Code Week 2. And instead of clicking into day 1, I'm going to do a new folder. And I'm going to say D2 for day 2. And I'm going to hit Open there. And if it pops up and says, do you want to trust? I can just say, always trust, and yes, I trust. And that should give me a new File Explorer here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it index.html, and we're going to come back to this in a second. And I'm just going to say hi there. Now, I'm going to go to the live share, and this is where you shouldn't follow me. And I'm going to share this session with you guys. So I'm going to drop this into Slack, into the live stream channel. And what you should be able to do is copy that link, click the join button under this live share button, and paste that link in. It may ask you for your name or to sign in with GitHub. Either one is fine. The text file you can save as index.html. We're going to end up clearing that in a second, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys could see some of my code. So hopefully you are able to get into live share down here. There should be a join button right up here, and you can paste that link in and hopefully join my session that says hi there. And I should see you guys as you start to trickle in here. Let me know if you guys get stuck.
Do we continue as anonymous or sign in?
You can do either there. So if you sign in, you can sign in with a GitHub account. And if you can't, or if you want to stay anonymous, that's completely fine. You should be able to join anonymously as well. And you might have to type in your username. I already saw Doug and Larry have connected in, which is great. That's progress. Let me know if you get stuck, because these two are very temperamental. I tried with Caitlin this afternoon, and it was like clicking on the link didn't get you in. You have to know to copy the link, go to VS Code, click the live share extension, click the join button, paste in the link, and then even then it gets a little tricky to get in. So a couple people I see are trickling in. That's awesome. I'm going to give you guys another minute. If you are stuck, this is probably not a you issue. This is a VS Code issue.
Max, I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize, Christy.
Oh, I just wanted to say I was stuck.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen. Go ahead and share your screen.
I didn't know what URL to put in.
Okay, if you go into Slack, in the CIC Livestream C3 channel, there should be a link that you can copy and paste from there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Christy, you want, it doesn't look like you've got the live share extension installed yet, so drop down to the 4 squares there with the one that's out of it. Yep. And click on live share there. Click on, how did you manage to install it and not have it in the sidebar? Click on live share here.
I started this yesterday. Remember, we backed out of it, so that's where I got confused because I already started it.
Okay. Close dictionary.
Oh dear.
And
click on this.
Okay, I'm confused. Try clicking uninstall over on the right. If you don't have the live share icon here, and then hit reload required. Okay, that should clear out whatever you had in there. So type in live share up in that search box.
What did I do?
And this is the one that you want to install. The second one there. And while you're at it, you can also install live server. Okay. I have no idea why you're not getting the icon showing up here. Click on live share. And click on maybe the little gear there. Try clicking on that again. Extension settings.
If you right click on the bar where all the extensions are on the left, like
so right click over here.
Yeah. And you should be able, not on an icon, just like in the empty space.
Yeah,
and
right there.
You should be able to get some sort of list to pop up. And then
good.
Share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen before, but that was the trick. Thank you, Caitlin.
You're welcome. I was experimenting.
Okay, so if anyone was stuck on that, if they have live share installed, but they don't have this arrow icon with the little circle underneath it, the trick there was to right click kind of in this space right down here, and then to click on live share, and that's what makes the icon pop up. Okay, so I've got 9 people. Yeah, go ahead and hit join, Christy, and then just paste in the link from Slack. Before you do that, just hit continue as anonymous or sign in that bottom right. And then you can either say guest user or type in your actual or your name that you want to show up. It doesn't really matter. And then enter. And now you should be able to paste that link in from Slack. So scroll down a little bit in the live stream channel over on the right. Keep going, keep going. Stop. Keep going. It's that one towards the bottom. Yep. So you can just right click on that and you should be able to copy link. And then go back to VS Code and paste the link. Command V should paste and enter. And that should bring you into my coding environment. So what you can actually do is now see my code. And as I type, you can see the code appear.
That's not working for me for some reason.
All right, go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. All right, so
you're going to hit the join button.
Yep.
And then down in the bottom right, continue as anonymous. And then you're going to enter your name up there, not the URL.
Oh, just enter my name. Oh, okay. All right.
And then enter there. And now maybe you had it backed up. Try continue as anonymous again in the bottom right and enter.
Okay.
Okay, and now you can hit enter as long as that's today's URL, which it looks like it is. So hit enter there. And then you can save those because it's going to close out of whatever you have open. And now it's going to pop you open. Give it 1 second to the code that I have.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. All right. Any other questions?
I need some help too.
Go ahead, Wayne. The reason why we're taking time on this, by the way, is because we'll be doing this every night from now on out, so you'll get used to joining in this session. But what this will allow you to do is see my code as I'm typing it, and when you're like, no, go back to the other window, you'll have control and be able to pull it up yourself. Okay, so Wayne, it looks like your mistake here was that you accidentally started a session for other people to join instead of joining my session. So if you hit the little X button up at the top there, that should stop the session, the do not enter sign right here. And now you should be able to hit join. And that's weird. That's starting another session. Cancel that again. And if you hit that join button, there you go. That's what we wanted to do. So hit, that is the wrong link. That is the link from yesterday's session. So go back to Slack. And just right click, copy that link. And paste, Command V. And enter. And now you should, after it connects, you should be able to get in. Hit D2 over on the left, and then try clicking on that again to expand the files. Why can you not see?
Had the little like banner at the top, Max. Is you have to like? Is it some security issue?
I don't think so. Let me save and close, and if I reopen.
Max.
Yep.
I had that same screen at one point just a couple of moments ago. If you do the command for the go to file, it's gonna open up. It's gonna basically open up the bar at the top of the screen, and you should be able to just click on that index.html because I was able to get back to what you were typing. Oh, because it's not.
Just click trust.
Yeah, but there's still an issue of you can't see the file that I have open, which is odd. Try going back to live share, the live share icon over here. And I have no idea why that's not. All right, let's try this. Close out of VS Code. We're going to try just joining the session one more time and seeing if it does that. Pop open VS Code again. Click on live share over on the left. Click on join. Just hit enter there. And give it a second. There you go. Now you're in. So as I edit this code here, it should clear out. So you're good to go. So that's a good note of if you can't see my files for some reason, sometimes you've got to close out and rejoin the session. Okay, anyone else stuck? Has everyone managed to make it in? It looks like we've got 13 people in, which is a good sign.
Hey Max, I need help with before, did you create a new file in D1 or D2, that D2 file? Can you show those steps again?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that. As long as everyone's into the collaboration thing, we'll be good to move forward.
Okay.
All right, are we good? Everyone in? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this file and share my screen again. And wrong one, this one. Okay, so if I come over here, I'm going to delete this file out. You don't have to if you've already got it created. But to create the new file, what I did is I went to File, Open Folder. And from here, I navigated to my C3 My Code Week 2, created a new folder down here called D2. And then I clicked on it and hit Open. and that's what's going to pop open your own editor. And it's important to remember which one you're in, right? There's going to be my code editor where I'm sharing my code, and then there's going to be your code editor. You want to have both of them open at the same time. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start up my live server. So hopefully in extensions, if you click on extensions over here, you have live server showing up. If you do not, just do a search at the top for live server. And from there, you should be able to hit the install button. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create my file. If you already have one created in your own, that's completely fine. But I'm going to just do an H1 that says hello world and click on this new go live button down at the bottom. So if we click on this, it's going to open up a Chrome window, and not only are you going to see that it says hello world, but as I actually make changes to this, I'm going to say Max is here. As soon as I hit the save button, it's going to make a liar out of me. As soon as I hit the save button, oh, it is mad that I don't have a head or a body tag. So I'm going to cut all that out. I'm going to do my HTML tag. I'm going to do a head tag. I'm going to say title test. Then I'm going to do my body tag. And then I'm going to put my H1 in there. And I'm going to close out. I'm going to make this bigger so I can see what's going on. Close that. Closing the server, clicking the go live button again, and now we can see our hello world. Max is here, and if I edit that and take that part out and save, you'll notice it live updates in the browser. So I'm going to give everyone a chance to create your index.html, make sure it's got a head and a body tag and an H1 tag in it, and then click on the go live button down at the bottom, and that should pop open a Chrome window with your HTML file live updating down there. And again, it's super important to keep in mind that the live server and my code is should be in a completely different window than your code in a different VS Code window.
Max.
Yep.
I'm having a hard time for some reason, like getting to my index.html and creating a new folder for day 2. I don't know why. I can't find it.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
Okay. So hit escape there to get out of that open folder that you're in.
It won't let me. Oh, there it goes. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so this is this is mine that I'm sharing, right? So
right.
It may help to go to File up at the top and drop down to New Window. And that's going to give you a second VS Code. I may have missed that step. And now if you go to Open, File Open Folder.
Yep.
You should be able to go to your desktop, CIC My Code, week 2.
Nope, not that.
So just hit yes, I trust. You can just go ahead and close this whole window.
Close the whole tag thing?
Yep.
And then do it again.
Yep, File, New Window. And then File, Open Folder. And then Desktop. And you just want to single click on them. If you single click, it will let you keep going. Week 2, New Folder in the bottom left.
New folder.
D2.
Oh, it has to be, yep. D2, okay. And then
create. And then open.
Got it, okay.
And from there, you'll now be able to hit New File or File, New File, and get that saved as your index.html and go live.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And then when you do New File, always pick text file. You almost never want to do a Jupyter Notebook.
Okay.
Quick question.
Yep.
I think I clicked the wrong thing. I was supposed to I was supposed to click on week 1 and then do day 2. So whatever I did, my index HTML is underneath my day 2.
That's where it should be. It should be in week 2, day 2, index.html.
Is there a way I can show it to you?
Yep, go ahead.
And share. Okay, like this?
Okay. Yep. So what you're going to do is go ahead and hit open. And that's going to get you in the right spot in VS Code. Now you're going to go to Finder in the bottom left. Outside of the window in your dock. Click on the little Finder icon.
What you meant on the screen?
And then just drag... Oh, okay, hold on. You've got other issues going on here. Drag day 2 out of the day 1 folder.
And over here?
Yep. Now drag... Is that index.html from yesterday or today?
Yes, that's from yesterday.
Okay, so close out of this. You're going to go to File, Open Folder. Sorry, click in VS Code. Now you should be able to go to File, Open Folder. Okay, click on Desktop. Go to My Code. Go to week, that should be week 2, but that's all right for now.
Can I change it?
You can try right-clicking on it and seeing if that gives you a rename. If you just hit the right arrow button, it will pull... Oh, that works too. Okay, open, single click on day 2, and then click open. Okay, and now you should be able to create your new file, and when you save it, it will go into the proper day 2 folder. Just hit enter. Do text file. And now you can hit Command S to save that, and you should be able to save it as index.html. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste this into the live stream channel so everyone has it. That should be what you have in your index.html. And once you have that in there, you can click the Go Live button at the bottom of the screen, and that's going to open up your live server. I put that in Slack, Christy, in the live stream channel. So just copy that. You're going to have to highlight the whole block of code. No. In the last message I sent. Just go ahead and copy the text, the code, all of that. And Command C. And then go back to your VS Code. Command V. Okay, and then just click on that Go Live button down at the bottom, and that's going to pop open your browser. And you're good to go.
Max, I'm having an issue with my Go Live.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen.
So I'm on the right, you're on the left, and when I click it to go live, it's showing hello world, but I don't have hello world. It might not just have hello, so I think it's showing yours somehow.
Okay, swipe back to, yep. great question. How is that happening?
I think I clicked something, not paying attention.
Let me see. I'm gonna just request remote control and go to open system preferences. This one you don't have to reboot Zoom, fortunately. The lock bottom left, your password. Go ahead and check Zoom. And then just swipe back over to Zoom. And let me just take a look at, I should be able to have remote control here. Yeah, perfect. Let me just look at if my live server, that's here. And then your live server is here. So let's just do stop. Server is now offline. We've got W2 going on. Live server is installed. I wonder if my live server is conflicting with your live server. Let me see if that's something I can adjust on my side really quickly. Live server. Extension
I could try jumping out and jumping back in and see if that helps.
Just give me 1 second. There might be a way that I can change my port. Yeah, here we go. 5600, save that, close. Let me stop my server. Let me stop your server. I'm gonna open your server. There's your hello. And now when I go live, I've got mine offset to a different port now. Which if you don't understand what that means, that's completely fine. We'll start covering that later. So let me see if that shared share server 5600. And now if you go into here, you can open this one, and there's my hello world. And then if you switch back to this one, there's your hello.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was a mistake on my part, by the way. That was not anything you guys did wrong. So basically, because you had two windows open, two live servers, it didn't know if it was mine or yours. So I've changed that now. So mine's going to start on a different one than the one all of yours will start on.
Okay, Max, please don't kill me because I know you probably feel like Kina did this a few times. But for some odd reason, I can't open up like my D2. It won't open in like a blank.
Okay, so go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
Oh, the other free tool, by the way, is called Rectangle. If you do a search for Rectangle free app, you can take a look there for the window snapping thing. I saw that going on in the chat.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get rid of some stuff so it could just be a little bit easier for me to do.
And Caitlin, can you drop in the link, the Zoom link, into the live stream channel for Danielle?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so you've got D2 open, and all you need to do is create your index.html file.
Okay, so then just add that.
Yep. Index.html. And then go ahead and pop that open. And then you can go to Slack and just copy and paste my code in.
Command V. I had copied it before. The pasted is.
Yep, Command V. You got it.
Okay.
And then down at hit save on that. And then you're going to go down to where it says port 5500. Click on that to stop it. Click on it to start it. And that should pop you open and you're good to go.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, is everyone feeling good about this? Is everyone feeling like if we closed out of everything right now and tried to do this again, which we will be doing tomorrow, you would be able to not only get into my code, but also be able to get into your code and start a live server?
Well, when I'm trying to where you were telling us to go back to the live server, it's telling me something about setting sync or something. Like I'm getting like a yellow, like the triangle with the yellow exclamation point next to
what are
live
your
server.
options for setting sync?
Well, it's saying
It might be easier just share your screen.
okay, yeah.
Okay, go back to your VS Code. Open D2 over on the left. Create your index.html file.
How do I do that?
Index.html, enter. Oh no, you were in the right spot. Yep. Index.html. Enter. Okay, go to Slack and grab my code. In the live stream channel. Just copy yep. Copy that whole section. Oh, try again. You didn't have that highlighted. There you go. Command C, go back. Command V. And then click on Go Live in the bottom right. And you're good to go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Max, quick question.
Yes.
I know you mentioned something about like the split screen app or whatever. I think I missed that yesterday. Do you know where I could find it at?
Yep,
Or
Caitlin just posted it in the Zoom chat at 6:12. It's called Rectangle app.
rectangle? Okay, hold on.
And that's
Oh, there it is.
optional, by the way. If you want window snapping that is not built into the Mac, you can download that free app and install it. There's a pro version that you shouldn't need, but that's kind
Okay.
of, you don't need that for class. So hopefully everyone has my code open and also has their code open and has a live server running for their code.
So Max,
Yeah.
I'm able to see mine live, but how do and I have both the text editors open, yours and mine. I'm able to see my page in the browser. How do I see your page in the browser?
You're going to go share your screen just so everyone else can see it, because I may not have covered this step. I think I did with Larry, but I went super quick on it. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the live share extension on my code. And then you're going to click on that localhost 5600. And that's going to pop open my code. And then you'll see that's that's my code right here, and then yours is right there.
Thank you.
No problem. Good question. Thank you for asking that, because I think I did not cover that. Okay.
Can I say one more thing? Sorry. If anybody wants that rectangle app link, I'm going to add it to the outline from yesterday with the other two that I added there, and I'll be in the week 2, day 1 outline instead of adding it today.
It's already in there.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So they're all there then.
Yeah, I haven't personally used Rectangle. It looks like it does the same thing. I use Better Snap Tool. I've used Cinch in the past. Whatever app works is completely fine.
But just in case you guys want it later, you don't want to deal with it now, that's fine. It's there.
Yeah. Week 2, day 1 outline under resources. Okay. We feel like we're ready to code?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we got live share set up. We got VS Code set up. Hopefully I did not forget to post the outline today, and you can all see that in Canvas, but I'm just going to share my screen just in case. We have completed these 2 steps already.
Max.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I said no, it's up there today.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you for confirming. Okay, so this process will get smoother. We will keep on doing this every class. I promise the troubleshooting time will get down lower and lower until it's all working right off the bat.
Just want to make sure that I'm on the same page with everybody.
Yep.
You want to check my... Sorry.
You want to share your screen?
Can I? What? Okay, here we go.
Okay, so that is your code, or that is my code. So you've got index.html over on the left. If you click on the index.html over on the left, you'll be able to see my code. And then do you have your code editor open? So if you swipe up with 3 fingers, it will show you all open windows. And that's the only window you have open. Okay, so let's run through it again. Click on the VS Code to make that your primary window. Anywhere. Yep, okay. You're going to go to File, New Window. You're going to go to File, Open Folder. File up in the top left. File in the top left. Okay. Desktop. Oh. So up here, go to File up there. Look where I'm drawing on your screen. It should be in yellow. Open folder. Click on Desktop once. You don't want to double click on any file unless you want to open it. Do you have a My Code folder from yesterday? Did you follow along yesterday and create code with us yet?
Oh, that's why I'm not there. Okay.
Okay. So just hit New Folder down here. And just call it My Code. Create. Create another new folder, and you're going to call that W2 for week 2. You're going to create another new folder for day 2. So D2, yep. Then go ahead and hit open there. Then you are going to create a new file. Yep, you got it. And you're going to call that index.html. Index, I-N-D-E-X .html. You're going to hit enter there. And you're going to go to Slack and copy my code. Oh, yep, you go save. And then click the Go Live button in the bottom right. Oh. You got it. And that's going to pop open your server and you're good to go. Okay. Everyone should be good.
I'm sorry. How do you open the file you made in the web browser again?
Yep, you're going to click on the little live share icon over on the toolbar. And then about halfway down, it should say shared servers, localhost 5600. Go ahead and double click on that, and that should open it up in the browser. Let me share my screen so you guys can see that. It's going to show up over on the left side here. Click on live share, and then under shared servers, it will say localhost. And if you double click on that, it's going to pop open in the web browser and look like this. Did you get it? Or you want to share your screen?
Yeah, one sec.
Okay.
Okay, so this you're gonna click on live share over on this side, and then just double click on that server, and that should pop it open.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Why is it not pulling up Zoom now?
Oh, it's fine. I can end your screen share.
Oh, right. Thank you.
No problem. I know it's rough. I promise every class will not be this tough. We will be getting in the flow of opening up my code, opening up your code, working on files. I promise it will get easier over time. Okay. Last chance for questions. I'd rather take the time now, make sure everyone's all set up instead of having you behind for the rest of class. I know it's frustrating watching everyone get there, but it's important that we all are there together for class because we will get in the flow for this in the future.
Okay, I'm really behind because Zoom had kicked me out for a minute. So,
Okay, can I actually move you into a breakout room with Caitlin?
Sure.
Just so she can catch you up. If it were a quick thing, but I just don't want to recap everything. So Caitlin, getting Danielle set up with both a day 2 folder for today in one window, and then in the second window, the live share and the live server.
May I also do that because I was not here yesterday? Markel.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Can you make me co-host, Max?
Oh, that might help. There you go. Oh, there you go. Okay, anyone else need help getting set up for today's work other than Danielle and Markel? Okie doke. So we are going to dive in to where we actually left off yesterday. So we've got our H1 here, and we've already played around with style tags in the browser, right? So if I share the right screen, so what we did yesterday is we did a style tag here, and we said, hey, go get my H1 and make all of my H1s red. So if I go back over to the live server, you guys should see Hello World has turned red on your servers as well. Well, that's great, but we could end up with a lot of CSS right in our HTML. Wouldn't it be nice if we could create a CSS file that was separate and just link to it? So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to go to a new file here, and I'm going to call it style.css. And notice that file extension is a little different. So I'm going to come in here, and in here, I'm going to say, hey, my H1 is now going to be color blue. And then I'm going to go back to my index.html, delete out my style tag, and instead of using style, I'm going to use a link tag. And that link is going to be an href, and now I'm going to tell it, hey, go look in style.css. But link tags are a little bit unique in that they can link to other different kinds of files. So we need to tell it, hey, the relationship that you want to treat that link with is going to be a style sheet. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to refresh, and you notice my hello world is blue. And we know that those two files are now linked because if I go to my style sheet and change this to green, all of a sudden, my live server will live update. I don't have to refresh anything. We should be good to go. So, have all of you, I'm going to take a break there and just make sure everyone's caught up. I'm going to launch a poll, and I want to make sure everyone has a style sheet created. You have in your style sheet an H1 with a color, and that you can see in your browser that your color is changing. Okay, I'm going to launch that poll. And if you're still working on it, if you're still trying to figure it out, don't vote in the poll yet, but that will be my gauge of whether or not we should move forward or not.
Hey, I had an issue where I had to close out of it, and because it wasn't sharing my HTML file. It was only showing yours.
Okay.
And then when I closed out, so now I got to get back into where I can share mine with you as well.
Okay, so what you want to be doing is go up to File up at the top and New Window, And file new window is something that you guys will get familiar with, right? Of like, is whatever I want to do in this window, or do I want to be working in a separate instance? And so the separate, if you want to be working in your own code, you want to make a new window, open your own code from there. So you're going to do file new window, file open folder, go to desktop, week 2, day 2, hit the open button, and then you should be able to get into your code from there and create files if you need to.
Okay, so we're just watching you on one window and doing our own code in the other window.
You got it, exactly.
Okay, so what did you say about the go live when you said hit go live and then...
Yeah, on your own code, down in the bottom right, mine says port 5600 right now, but in the same spot, it would say go live. And if you
that's what I
click
got.
on that, it's going to open up your own code in your browser.
Yeah, so when I do that, I get a red X mark and it says open a folder or workspace.
So you need to have your day 2 folder open before you can click on go live, because otherwise it doesn't know what you're trying to make go live.
That's what's crazy. I do have it open.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen.
1 second.
And if anyone needs to see my code or my 2 files, you can go into that live share window, the other window that you have open, and take a look from there.
Okay.
Okay, so click on your files over here.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Okay, and now you don't have the folder open. So just hit open in the bottom left because you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
And now you should be able to click the go live button and it will work.
All right, yep.
All right, you're good to go.
Okay.
So you're just going to follow the steps that I did with adding the link tag and creating the style tag.
Okay.
Or the style file, I should say. All right, we only got 3 people who have it working, so who else is stuck and needs help?
Me. So I didn't realize I wasn't muted. Sorry.
It's okay.
But when I look into the live, like the actual website, your code, your screen didn't change to green and mine didn't change to green either.
Okay, so go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so mine is over on the left.
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is if you scoot that window over just a little bit so you can see the live share icon, scoot the left window, my code, over the whole window.
This way?
Other way. So you can see, yep. Okay, click the live share icon right here. And then if you double click on that 5600, that's going to pop open my code. Scroll down just a little bit there. In this area, scroll down.
Oh, okay.
And now try double clicking on 5600. Okay, that's my code that's running.
Okay.
Now let's go over to your window.
Okay. I got so much stuff going on.
Yeah. Okay, and now let me just make, oh, sorry, I did not mean to draw right across your screen. Let me come out of that mode and move this. Okay, so you've got your, all of that looks good. Now the problem that you have is in your file name, you have a pound in front of it. And that's going to cause problems. So just right click on that and rename. And just delete out that pound.
Oh, okay.
And then enter. And go to maybe this tab. And try a refresh there. Okay, still looks like we've got...
save it, Max.
Thank you.
Good catch. So go ahead and save. And...
Did it not actually save that time either? I'm sorry. See.
let's just go back to your index.html for me. Everything looks right in your style. Everything looks right there. So last thing we can try, stop your server in the bottom right, which is actually going to be that little X. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just drag this over
Yep.
because I can't see.
No problem.
Okay, so right here.
Yep. Click on that to stop it. Click on it again to start it. And you still have... Okay. We're missing something obvious here, but I don't know what it is. Head, body. Change your hello world to say like hello world 1. Inside the tag. Yeah, right there. You got it. And save. Okay, so that's working. So it's got to be an issue with
the color.
I got it. Look how you spelled style sheet.
Oh, well, that would make a lot of sense. Thank you.
And if you save that, I hope you go green.
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No problem. Christy, you're up next.
That would help. So I finally figured out, I'm just gonna go straight to share the screen. I finally figured out what you were talking about, but so right here, I don't know. See, I see my name and all my stuff, but I don't know how to do the thing.
Yep, so here's the problem. You opened the file that you wanted to work on instead of the whole folder that had the file in it. So if you go to File, Open Folder up at the top.
Here.
Yep.
File.
Open folder.
Open folder. Okay.
And so now hit open there. And now you'll see over on the left your index.html, which is what you want, and you can do the next steps for the style sheet and all of that.
Wait. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. We're getting more votes in, but not enough yet. Someone who is still stuck.
I'm having a lot of trouble over here. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, and I just cleared the whole screen.
Okay. Do you want to share your screen and we'll get you set up? Okay, so first things first, let's get you set up with connecting to the live stream. So you're going to go to Slack. You're going to go to, and scroll up a little bit to the that link, that prod live share, right-click copy. Sometimes it doesn't open right in the browser, which is why we copy it. Okay, and now go to click on the live share icon over in VS Code down here and join. Yep. And then continue as anonymous, hit enter. And then, okay, you already had the link in there, which is fine. So go ahead and hit enter there. That's going to pop open my code. And once that loads in, we can go back to the live share icon over on the left and click on the shared server localhost 5600, and that's going to pop open my code.
Okay.
From there, we're going to go back to VS Code. We're going to go to File, New Window, and then we're going to go to File, Open Folder. And we're going to open your desktop, then CI my code, single click, W2D2, and then hit open there. Now you're going to say, yes, I trust, and open up your index.html file. Okay, all of this looks good. And so if you click on the Go Live button in the bottom right, it's going to open up another tab in your browser, and that's your code.
Thank God. Okay.
So you should be caught up. All you have to do is delete that untitled one and create your new file called style.css.
Okay.
And you should be able to catch up from there.
And that was this button over here?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, and then it was
style.css.
Sweet. Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, we're making progress. This break's gonna feel real good tonight, isn't it? Getting everyone set up. It's all right, believe it or not, I have done this before, and while this does feel very painful, this is what we have to go through, right? Part of this is remote fun. Part of this is it's a pain to be a developer and have all of these windows open and have me up on the screen, and it takes a while to get used to, but I promise this is the biggest road bump. Once we get over this, once we get in the flow, it becomes much easier. All right, we've got 8 votes in. I would love to get 1 or 2 more in before we can move forward. So, Christy, it looks like you're panicking and have a question.
No, what's the code in the CS file again?
The CSS file, you should be able to switch over to my window with my code in it, open up style.css, and get access to that code.
I'm not panicking as much as I need to another screen. I need to, on the break, I may go find my other monitor. The toggle is not working for me. So that I'm understanding, I'm caught up, and I can't find the survey. I don't know where it went. So yes, yes. So I don't know. I'll find it in a second and try to click on
problem.
it.
And
I need another monitor.
I promised you guys a link to a monitor recommendation yesterday and then promptly forgot to share that. So if you have another monitor and an adapter to plug it in, that's great. If not, I will post that in tonight's outline under resources and also drop it into the CIC Student C3 channel. Again, it's not a requirement to go buy another monitor, but let me tell you, I've got 3 up right now, and the only reason why I'm staying sane is because I have 3 different monitors. So do not feel like it is completely okay with us to go spend some of your stipend money on a monitor and another cord.
Max, is it possible to connect the air to an iMac monitor? I mean, iMac do we already have? If it's a tedious process, don't worry, I'll try to look it up later.
Great question. So they just released universal control on the Macs, which made it possible to actually drag a window from one Mac to a completely other Mac and have it continue to work. So if the Mac is new enough and on the latest operating system, you should be able to do that. But universal control Mac is what you would want to Google to figure out how to get that working. Both computers do need to be signed into the same Apple ID. And the other thing I will say is if you've got an iPad from the past like 3 or 4 years around, you can also use your iPad as a second display for your Mac. So even though it's a smaller screen, it may be helpful to like throw what I'm sharing over on that screen. They both do need to be signed into the same Apple ID, so it's fine to use your personal Apple ID on the Hack Upstate laptop. But once you get that set up, if you go to System Preferences, I know I'm not sharing my screen, and you go into Displays, down here at the bottom where it says Add Display, these are 2 Apple TVs I actually have in my house, but if your iPad is powered on, of course my iPad is not an easy reach. If your iPad was powered on, it should actually show up here, and all you need to do is click on the iPad, and as long as it's on the same Wi-Fi network and the same Apple ID, you can actually use your iPad as a second display.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. How are we feeling? We've got 8 votes in plus Christie's vote.
I'm sorry, where did you say the style CSS was posted?
If you go to the window where you should have 2 windows open, one with your code and one with my code. if you go back to the one with my code, you should be able to go to the file editor, file explorer over on the left, and then pop open style.css right over here.
Hold on a sec. I'm going to share my screen.
Sure. Let me stop mine really quick. Okay, go for it. Okay,
Good.
so that is your code window that you have open, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't have mine open?
I thought I did, and I don't know where it went.
Okay. I don't see it. So you're going to go to File, New Window in Slack. I'm sorry, in VS Code. And then you're going to click on Live Share over on the left. And Join. And continue as anonymous. And then Enter. And it did not remember the link. Okay, so go back to Slack. Scroll up. Grab that one. Go back to VS Code. Paste. Enter. And now over on the left in 1 second, it should have my style.css and you can access it that way.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I know it's painful seeing it a bunch of times with different people, but all of this is practice, right? So you should get exposure to all of this.
I think it helps reinforce it.
Absolutely. Having two
Seeing it again and
windows,
again.
getting this working. And part of the problem is I can't share the whole process because I'm sharing my code. So I can't just show how to join it as well. So it will get a little easier from there. Okay. We officially have 10 votes in. I'm going to end the poll. Going to try and keep going unless anyone screams bloody murder. Here's your chance. Okay, so let's have some fun. We're going to build out a quick form and play around with some CSS, and then we are going to take a much-deserved break now that everyone has their two windows open and can code along and see my code and all of that. I promise, I know this is painful, but getting this set up on week 2 means that we've got, 22 other great weeks of being able to use this feature and getting comfortable with the flow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen.
My color doesn't change. I don't know why.
It's probably a syntax issue. Is the color not changing in your HTML or CSS?
In the CSS.
Okay, so make sure that you've got an opening curly brace and a closing curly brace. Make sure that you have a semicolon at the end of color and a colon between color and green. And then also make sure that your file extension is .css and that you've got a little hashtag over here.
Hashtag over there. Okay.
Right over here.
Okay. Let me change that.
Now, it shouldn't be hashtag style CSS. It should just have an icon of a hashtag, and then your file name should be style.css.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to make a form component. So I'm going to make a form, and this should be a recap of yesterday, right? But I'm going to do an input type, and I'm going to say that is going to be a text input. And we're going to maybe put a label on that. And that label we probably have not used yet, but that's okay. We're going to say name. And then we're going to come back down here and we're going to do a button. And we're going to say save. And if I pop over to my live server, I should see all of that. Now let's have some fun. Let's style that. I hate the font that name is in. I want to change that font. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my style. And I'm going to say, hey, for anything in my form, I would like the font family to be, let's say, Arial. And now I just auto-completed that because on Windows computers, Arial is called Helvetica or vice versa. I can't remember which. So what we're doing here is we're allowing for fallbacks. We're saying, hey, use Arial if you have it installed. If you don't, use Helvetica. If you don't have Helvetica, just use any sans serif font, right? So there are different kinds of font categories, and this goes like all the way back to Steve Jobs taking a font class and all the way back to the printing press. So there are different kinds of font families, but sans serif is like the ultimate fallback, where it doesn't matter if you're on a computer going back to the 70s, they're going to have a serif and a sans serif font. So we're just going to use those three. I let autocomplete work for me, and when I come over here, you'll see name is a different font. And you'll also see I've got my hello world and my save, right? Now my hello world is a different font because I told it, hey, only target the form. So if I wanted a different font family on my H1, I could target that up here. But because I'm just targeting my form, only that changed to Arial. Okay, that's great, but I want my save button on another line. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to add a line break in right after my input. And we should probably put that down on a new line. I'm going to refresh. That moved my save down. But that's looking really ugly. What if I want my button to be a little styled up, right? A little fancier. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to target my button. And I'm going to say, hey, I would like that width to be 200 pixels. So now it's the length of the form. I actually got really lucky there. I did not expect that to be the exact width right off the get-go. Okay, now I don't like the fact that it's right on top of it, right? So I'm going to use margin, because margin is the spacing between components. Padding is the spacing inside components. So I'm going to say, hey, the margin, I only need it at the top, and it's going to be 20 pixels. I'm going to come over here, refresh, blow that up so you guys can see it. Now we've got some nice spacing going on, right? That's feeling good. But I think this still looks like an ugly button. To me, buttons are always blue. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to say, hey, my background is now going to be blue. And if I come over here, ooh, okay, but we still need to do some styling, right? So first of all, I need my color to be white. That whenever we say color, it assumes to be font color. And now that looks better. I'm kind of liking that. I still don't love this kind of border on the outline, right? Looks very 1990-ish. So let's throw a border radius on, and we're going to make that 10 pixels. Okay, that's looking better. I don't love that blue. I would like that blue to not be as bluish, right? So VS Code has this nice feature built in where if I hover over this, I can just pick whatever color I want. And so let's go for maybe a deeper blue. And it's going to replace my color blue with a color coding, right? I'm just going to say RGB, and then this is going to be our red, our green, and our blue value. So if I save that and come over here, it's that nice darker blue. And the last thing I want to get rid of is that outline going on. So I'm just going to say outline is going to be none. And that's not going to work. I'm going to say border is none. And that killed off my border for me. And I kind of like that. So that's how we could make a really basic component. If we say, oh, I don't want it to be that rounded, we could always come in and drop this down. And that would take off a lot of the rounding, but add a little bit, and we can always play around with it from there. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. I think 5 is going to feel right. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to let everyone catch up. Hopefully you've got a form in. You've got your name styled in a different font. Oh, the last thing we'll do, let's add a little padding to that. So the padding, because we want the button to get bigger itself, we don't want the spacing to change between the button and the form input, we can add some padding. So we're going to say padding top, and let's say 5 pixels, and padding bottom is going to be another 5 pixels, and that just gave us a little breathing room at the top and the bottom of the save button. So I'm going to take a break here. We're going to let anyone catch up to this point. You should have a name, form input, and your save button, and you should play around with some styling and get your save button working. If you were able to do that, take a much-deserved longer break. We'll be back at 7:20. If not, I'll stick around for at least the next 9 minutes and help anyone catch up to this. Now, if you say, Max, go back to this file, I'm going to do something. I'm going to slap you virtually. You should have the other VS Code open and be able to get in from that way.
Couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
Not a problem. I couldn't think of a PC way to say that, so I just came out with it.
Max, I need help.
Sure,
Can
go
you
ahead
show
and share your
code
screen.
real quick?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Oh, 1 second. Let me get to share screen. All right. Okay. So first off, for the background, right? I'm trying to get it to show how you got it, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, you've got two things going on here. You want to basically take out everything from here all the way over to here.
Okay, so take out the whole thing.
Yep.
Okay.
And one more, you've got a double parenthesis there. Yep, there you go. And now you just need a semicolon at the end of that line.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And now you check out the squiggly on 16. Yep.
What?
You got it. And now save and go over to your browser and see what it looks like.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Reminder during the break to install Chrome.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop your screen share. Who's next? Go for it, Markel.
Yeah. Okay, so how did you make that? Hold on, I had the same problem before.
Okay,
how did you make that little subheaded?
Yep. So what you're gonna do is you can either two ways we can do it. You can either save the file that you already have open, or you can create a new file and name it right from the start. Which would you prefer to do?
Save new file?
Okay, so instead of getting to it from that way, click off. What you're going to do is hover over week 2 over in the sidebar over here. And you're going to get a new file icon. Oh, right here. So go ahead and click on that new file icon, and you're going to call that style.css.
Oh.
And hit enter there. And then go ahead and close your untitled one up here.
Just exit out?
Yep. Okay. And from there, you should be able to start coding things out. But before you forget, go back to your index.html and make sure that you add your link tag right in between line 3 and 4.
Okay. Now what? Would I press like enter?
Yep.
That index?
And do you have my code open as well?
Yes, it's in a different...
Maybe down there?
Yeah.
Okay, so feel free to reference that. If you go to File, and then you should be able to open up index.html as well, and that will have all the code in it.
Ooh, okay. Okay, thank you so much. I'll definitely do that right now.
No problem. Okay, other questions? Feel free to turn off your camera and go on break if you've got it working.
I have my code matching up, but it's not. Can I just share my screen?
Sure can.
All right, let me.
Picture's worth 1,000 words, time and time again.
All right, so where's my browser? This is what it's showing up.
Okay.
But I don't know why it doesn't match what everybody else has.
Okay, no problem.
Your
So
screen, and this is my screen.
okay, so your style sheet looks good. Your I don't need to be greeted when I create an element.
Oh. All right, H1.
Okay, save and take a look, and I think you'll find that rocket ships you back to where you're at.
Thank you.
Before you go though, instead of opening the file like we did yesterday, we're gonna use live server. So go back to your code and scoot the window up so we can see the whole thing. And if you click on this down here to stop the server, and then click on that, go live again, that should pop your code open. So now when you make a change and save it, it's going to automatically update in the browser without you having to refresh.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Wayne, you want to share your screen?
Yeah, 1 second. So I copy and paste most of the stuff in here.
Okay, so the problem is your style has the hashtag in the file name and should not. So right click, rename that, and then just take out the space and the pound sign, the hashtag, and enter. And then go back to your browser and that should fix the issue.
All right.
And over the break, don't forget to install Chrome.
Oh, I did. I need to open it. That's what I need to do. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Who else needs help?
Hey, can I share my screen?
Yep.
I'm not sharing what's. Okay. It's just
You're really gonna hate me.
What?
Look at your file name over on the left, and then look at your href. So compare this to this. Nope, go back to your VS Code. Compare this right here to this right here.
Hold on, I'm trying to put both to the side so I can see what, what you're saying. Okay. Okay.
Oh. Okay, so compare your file name here to your href here.
Oh, okay. Alrighty then. Okay.
Okay, and save. And then, oh, don't forget to save in VS Code. Command S. Oh, on your index.html, you just have to hit Command S to save.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, there you go. And you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Pretty purple. Who is next?
I'll go next.
Yep.
Let me share my screen. Okay. I think I have the folder. I'm not sure.
Yep, you've got everything set up right. The only thing you're missing in your index.html is the link tag.
Okay. So how do I?
That's going to go between lines 3 and 4. So just hit enter there. And then do you have my code open in that other VS Code window?
I think so,
yep,
yes.
right
Hold on.
there.
I gotta figure out how to get to it.
Okay. And then pop open my index.html and you'll see that link href style. That line is what you need.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And just be careful there. You're missing that first arrow. Yeah, you got it.
Yep, I see. Thanks.
I'll stay on with you while you get. Okay, you're good.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, who's up next?
Guess these nuts. I don't know what your topic is tonight, but I just.
Anyone else need help?
I just want to say that I added my iPad screen, so that helped me so much.
Awesome. Good to hear.
But when I pulled it up, it gave me other options. Like it said I could add my TV or I could have a Samsung tablet. So you can extend it to more than
just the iPad. Yes, if you have an Apple TV, you can even use your Apple TV as a second display.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know.
Chrissy's going to be rolling into class tomorrow with about 14 screens around her.
Well, I have other monitors, and I actually have a extension for the C code because I have a Microsoft computer. So I ordered it from Amazon but never used it. I gotta find it. But I have a couple different hookups, but I just that one screen and it's 13 inches is making me crazy.
Yes. Yes, it will definitely do that. And I'm gonna post a couple recommendations for monitors in the outline so people have them. Although let me tell you, this supply chain shortage has impacted monitors. Last cohort, which was less than a year ago, these were all $89 and they're now up to $140.
Oh, so I have a TV. I have a 32-inch TV that I use. I have a 22-inch TV that I was using at first, but the HDMI, and then I have an HDMI that will connect to a C cord. So they may be able to get a cord that will be able to connect them faster than they might be able to get a whole monitor. So
yep,
maybe that option.
Yep, I'm updating the links right now so you guys have access to them.
Thank you. I'm going to get some tea. I need some tea for my nerves.
All right, feel free to go on break. I'm sticking around for like 2 more minutes if anyone has questions. Okay, so I've got a little bit more for us to do today. We are not going to get to the weather app, and that is completely okay. We are going to save the weather app for tomorrow. So what I would like to get to today is Bootstrap components and the Bootstrap grid, just exposing you guys to it, and then we will pick it up at that place tomorrow. So here's just a quick view of the outline. Just quick recap of where we're at. We all suffered through live server and live share, but hopefully we've got that all up and working. We went over CSS and external file using the link tag, creating a separate file, getting our workspaces set up, and we did a little styling on our form, right? We got our button working and all of that. But hey, this seems like a lot of work to do for every website. Wouldn't it be great if, like, when we just started a website, we could start with a baseline component and, like, just have most of those components made for us? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm glad you asked. So I'm going to create a new file over here. I'm going to call it bootstrap.html. And I'm going to use a little shortcut here. So whenever we start a new HTML file, it's probably good practice to start out with our head and our body tags and doing all of that from scratch, right? But we can use a shortcut built right into VS Code. If we just type an exclamation mark and hit enter, it's going to dump in a bunch of HTML for us, and this is going to be our starting point. And this is actually using a shortcut system called Emmet, which is super powerful if you learn it. However, there is some value in typing this out for your first couple projects just to make sure that you have it remembered. So doctype HTML, this is something the browsers use because there are different versions of HTML. So saying doctype HTML is just giving the browser more context. The lang en is saying, hey, the language we're writing this in is English. We have our head tag just like we did before. This meta charset UTF-8. UTF-8 is a text encoding that basically tells the browser, hey, we can use things outside of the regular character set. So regular character set is called ASCII. I'm blanking off the top of my head what that stands for. But ASCII is like the very basic text encoding, and then things outside of ASCII require that UTF or Unicode 8 encoding. The best example of that is emojis, right? So if you're just using ASCII, it's just like uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and basic symbols. But UTF-8 supports all kinds of things outside of that. This meta HTTP equivalent, i.e. Edge, this is basically saying, hey, Internet Explorer is a very old browser, but unfortunately it still has a lingering number of users. So this is basically just telling the browser, hey, this is more modern code. If you run this on Internet Explorer, here's how to handle it. The meta viewport, we're saying there are a lot of different meta tags, as we're seeing here, charset and HTTP equivalent. This meta name viewport is basically telling it, hey, this website is set up to support mobile. And so this is going to make our whole website mobile responsive. And we're basically saying, hey, when you load this site, set the width of the website to the device width, and then set the initial zoom level to 1.0. So that gives us support for mobile browsers and also unlocks us so that we can support responsive in the future. Title, we've already gotten into that, right? That's our basic title that shows up on the tab or the window name. We're going to call this Intro to Bootstrap. And then our body didn't change, our HTML didn't change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say, hello world. I'm going to go back to my live share server, which I don't have open. So I'm going to open it from live share and just double clicking on it. That's going to open up my index file, but up at the top here, what I can do is I can do a slash here and say bootstrap.html, and that's going to open up my hello world. To switch between files, if you are in my live share window, so again, 2 windows open in VS Code, if you pop it open and you click on this little pin icon here, that's going to follow me based off of what I'm sharing. So as I switch between files, it should automatically open up those other files that I'm in. Thank you, Caitlin, for that suggestion. Okay, so we've got a hello world going on here. It's Times New Roman. It's ugly. What we're going to do is open up a new tab and go to getbootstrap.com. I'm going to hit this get started icon, and I'm going to copy this CSS link. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to just add some new space, and I'm going to add it there. So I'm going to save that, go back over here, and you noticed right off the bat that added a nice little font change for me. Well, that's handy. I wonder what else Bootstrap can do. Well, let's look at their components. I'm going to go to their components, and I want to take a look at a button, right? Because if you remember in our style.css, we wrote 7 lines of code here, right, to style our button. And it's a decent button, but it doesn't look like a great button, right? There's no animation when we hover over it. There's no, super set color scheme. There's no any of that. So I'm going to come over here, and because what we did in our bootstrap.html, we pulled in Bootstrap CSS, and that's all Bootstrap is, right? Is it's 99% a CSS framework. meaning that they just give us components and classes and layouts that we can use in our own code. And as long as we know what Bootstrap called it in their code, we can pull their code in. And so that's what we did here. We pulled their code in, but now we need to use their documentation. So up here, you'll notice I'm in the Docs tab. I went over to Components, and they've got all of these different buttons for us. Well, that's helpful. Let's start with this primary one. So I'm just going to copy this code, go over to my body, and paste in the button. And if you see, we're still using the button component just like we used in our code, but now we're using classes. This BTN is coming in from Bootstrap, and as is this BTN primary. And if we look, we just have the word primary here. Let's say my first BS button. I don't want to know what happens when you click on a BS button, but it's our first Bootstrap button. Okay, little pun there for you. Liven up the class. Now we've got our first blue button showing up here, and there's a nice little effect there. If you hover over it, we have that popping in. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's try and recreate our form. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to grab, I'm actually going to do it from scratch. So I'm going to create a new form tag just like we did before. And I'm going to move our button right into that form. And I'm also going to go back and I'm going to look and see, hey, there's a whole section for forms. That's convenient. But before I change it, I want my button to be that info color. So I'm just going to go back in and change my primary to info. And when I save that and come back over here, you notice my color has changed a little bit. Okay, that's great. Now let's look at our forms. So I want to look at an overview. And if I just scroll down here, here's a pretty good starting place for a form, right? So I'm going to just take all of these and copy it, come down here, paste it in, and because I am using the classes that Bootstrap is telling me to, I'm going to get styling from that. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to remember to save my file, and come over, and now I've got my form working. Okay, it's pretty cool. I'm going to update this for my own, right? So I'm going to say name, and I'm going to call my label, I'm going to say name, and change my ID to name. And we can remove this because we don't need a description on it yet. And then we can say, please enter your name here so we know who you are. So we're making little updates there, and if I click in here, you notice my input automatically has a nice little border around it, and when I type in things, it's giving me a little padding, right? That's compared to our other input, which looked, just as a comparison, like this, right? Ugly, doesn't have any padding around it, maybe a different font. And now we've got this nice outline going on. We've got some padding built into it, just general styling, right? So I'm going to take out that input that we use for comparison. And we can use other things like, hey, if I would like my button to be centered, I can come in here and just add a div around my button. And in that button, I'm going to get my indentation set right. And I am going to use a class coming from Bootstrap called, I'm blanking on the name of it. So I'm actually going to go back to the documentation, go to layout, and look at maybe utilities. Not utilities. Where is it?
Wait, where again?
Is it align center, flex center?
Oh, justify. It's under, I thought there was a flex,
We're going to use Stack Overflow for the first time. So I'm going to do a search for Bootstrap 5 center.
I think it's like D-flex, and then unless you're using, yeah. but then there's
justify content
a D dash flex and then
center.
yeah.
So let's just see if we can put that right on there.
You need flex first, I think. You need both of those classes.
Yeah, there's one that you don't need that, but I'll just use. Oh, screw it. Okay, so we're gonna say d-flex, which is gonna tell Bootstrap, hey, I want to use a certain alignment system, and then justify content center. And what that should do is that should center our button for us. Right? So instead of having to move things around, we can just center right there. We're gonna take this whole thing and we're gonna put it in another div, and we're gonna call that class a container. And that container is what sets Bootstrap up to know, hey, everything you want in here, let's do some magic and add some spacing for you. So I'm going to fix my indentation and refresh. And you notice we've got a little breathing room going on the side now. So there's a little margin built in to that container. And we can keep going here, right? Let's look at their components. We could do something like a card. So there's this nice little card with a card title and a little button built into it. So what we can do is just grab something like this card title, take all of this code, dump it in, and now we've got a nice little card built into our website. And we can mix and match our code here, right? Bootstrap isn't preventing us from using our own styles. So I can come in here, create a new file called mycustomstyles.css, and I can go back into my Bootstrap file, and now order here matters. I have to put this link in underneath the Bootstrap, because basically what I'm saying is I would like my CSS to override the Bootstrap CSS. So I'm going to add a new link here. The href is going to go to my, in the quotes, my custom styles.css. The rel is going to be a style sheet. I'm going to close that tag out. And now what I can do here is I've got a class of card already there. I can target my card class and I can say, hey, move that away from what you're up against. And you notice that just scooted it down. So we can overlap and use classes that Bootstrap is providing for us and override them and add in our own. So I'm going to take a minute. I want everyone to create a new file, pull in Bootstrap using the link on getbootstrap.com, and then look at all of your options available to you in any of these components and try and get one of those components working in your own file. And I'm going to kick up the poll. Basically, once you get a component showing up in your file, go ahead and vote in the poll.
I put the link for Bootstrap in this chat, but I can put it in the live share chat as well, if anybody wants that. I think I'll just do that. There you go.
Max?
Yes.
Okay, I'm like super behind. I fell back because for some reason I had the screen side by side, your code on left, mine on right. Now for some reason I can't get it to stay side by side. So I missed a whole bunch of code that just got put in.
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your code and you're going to create a new file called bootstrap.html.
Yep, I did that part.
And then you're going to create another file called mycustomstyles.c. Actually, you don't even need to do that. So just in Bootstrap, you're going to type, do you have your HTML kind of template in there?
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to add in a new link tag that is on getbootstrap.com. So let me show that step.
Yep, I just got that part, I believe.
Okay, so you should have up in your head tag, you should have this in that says link href and then the cdn.js deliver. And the place that I got that is from getbootstrap.com. This is their homepage. If you go to get started, you can copy the CSS right there.
Yep.
You're going to paste that into your head tag. And then down here, what you're going to do is anywhere in your body, just scroll through what options are available to you in the components in getbootstrap.com and just pick one of these and say, oh, I'm curious about a nav bar. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to see this nav bar. All I need to do is copy the code here and paste it into my body. And then check in the browser and see if you're able to see that nav bar. If you are, go ahead and play with that HTML a little bit and see if you can make updates to it and make it look the way you want it to.
Okay.
And as soon as you have any Bootstrap component showing up, obviously there are some that are more complicated than others, but as soon as you get a card showing up or a button showing up or whatever it is, go ahead and vote in that Zoom poll and say, hey, I got something working.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I'm sorry, Max. Where did you get the get started? Where did you get that first?
Yep, if you go to the Bootstrap homepage and hit get started, the link under CSS, they've got a copy button for you right there. So you just hit copy there and then switch back over to your code and hit paste.
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
Max, quick question. Doc type, am I supposed to put that within the top also?
Yeah.
I tried to play with that and yeah.
It's generally a good idea. The shortcut that I use there is whenever you're in a new file, if you hit Shift-1 for the exclamation mark and enter, it's going to dump in the entire template that I used. So that's a good shortcut for starting a file. Most text editors will support Emmet or which is that autocomplete system, but not all of them do.
So what is it again? So if I just
in a new file, if you just type Shift-1 for exclamation mark and hit enter, it should dump that template in for you.
Bet. Okay, thank you so much.
And it will only do that if you're in a .html file.
.html. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I know I went super fast there. I should have said, hey, let me show you what Bootstrap is, give you an intro. Don't worry, you'll have a chance to try this on your own. Now you've got the chance to try this on your own. And if this is super overwhelming, don't worry. You don't need to know every single component here. We're going to be using Bootstrap over the next couple weeks. So once you get your first component working, we're going to just touch on the grid a little bit, and then we'll let you guys go for the night. And I'm going to make sure to change the homework to say that that's not due. If you're able to get a component working, just hop into that Zoom poll and say that you were able to get it working. If you are just going along for the ride and not trying, go ahead and also vote in the poll. And then if you're still working on it and need any help, just feel free to unmute and I can help you guys through it.
Could you send the poll again?
I unfortunately cannot. But
Okay.
if you go into the Zoom room,
Yeah.
is there a polls option down at the bottom of your screen?
Let me see. I literally just had it, but I had to put it to the side to try to get everything done. Hold on.
I think to the right of the share screen button, there should be a polls button. Maybe?
I see a chat participants to the right. Well, my right is record, live transcript, reactions, and apps.
Is it under more, maybe?
Let me check.
The other thing you may be able to do is if you swipe up with 3 fingers, that's going to show you all the windows, and one of those windows may be the poll. I wish Zoom gave me the option to like refocus it on your screen, but unfortunately it does not.
Dang, I don't know how I lost this.
It's fine. I'll just add one to the vote.
Okay, all right. Oh, is that it?
Danielle, go ahead.
Max, I'm having a problem connecting my Bootstrap information to the original code. So it's like, of course, I got the code to work in its own screen, but it's not together. I don't know how to explain it.
Go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just submit the poll. Okay, so I had to use the radio button and I see it came up, but shouldn't it be connected to the other stuff that I'm doing?
No, because did you do the other stuff in index.html? Let me see your code. Okay, yeah. So because we did this in a separate file, they won't be connected at all.
Okay, so this is what you're looking for, just a
correct. Yeah, I wanted to do it in a separate file so we had a clean slate. The one thing I will say is make sure you're cleaning up your indentation, because while that code is completely functional for the computer, it's going to be very hard for you to debug it yourself. So little things like if you scroll over to the left a little bit more.
Scroll what over to the left? Do you mind circling what you're referring to?
Yeah, so just in this area, scroll that over so we can see the edge of it. So with 2 fingers on the trackpad, you should be able to move your fingers. Don't click, but just move your fingers to the left or right with 2 fingers down. And that, yeah, okay. Other direction though.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So like little things going on here, right? Where, hey, this head tag is ending and you've got another one starting. So that should be on another line.
Okay.
And then the other thing to keep in mind is because that whole div is what's going to show up, this body tag up here should actually be all the way up there.
Okay.
And then also, because after you move that body tag, because the div is going to be inside the body. Oh
no. Okay. How do I undo that? Command Z?
Yep. One more time. Command Z. Okay.
And it was the
body tag.
Body tag. Yep. This one.
Yep. So go ahead and take that and move that up to line 11. Okay, and take out that extra closing tag. So, yep. And then go ahead and take out both of these.
Okay.
Okay, and then last thing we want to do is because this div right here is inside this body tag, we want to highlight all of this code and then hit the tab button, which is going to indent it for us.
Nothing happened.
Try it again, just the tab button.
I hit it and nothing happened.
Okay, that's weird. Try clicking off and highlighting it again and then hitting tab. There you go.
Okay.
And then last thing you want to do is just clean up your white space between the final div and the body tag. So
The
just
final div and the body tag, like in my
just delete a couple of those lines. And then see how much more readable your code is now. How like all of a sudden it doesn't just look like a mass of text and it looks like you can actually follow it. That's kind of the importance of just because the computer can read your code and make it show up right doesn't mean that a human or your instructor can read your code, right? So it's super important to follow along with indentations.
All right, thank you.
And I will actually show you guys a tool for that. Once you get good at doing indentation, I will show you a tool to have the computer actually help with your indentation. But it's really important to get the indentation done right yourself, because that's going to help you debug and understand what the computer is actually parsing out and reading. And as soon as you get good at it, I'll give you a tool to help you get that indentation working automatically. All right, we've got 6 votes in so far. I would love to see 2 more in there.
Max,
Yes.
question for you. So, were we supposed to? I know you said we'll be going through Bootstrap obviously more. So can you just take a look at my screen for a moment because I wasn't sure if something was supposed to change.
Yep, go for it.
Okay. 1 second. Okay, so all right, so yours is on the left, mine is on the right. So I got this on Bootstrap. I put in one for a red button, and then I didn't see anything change. And then I also put for a drop down. I just need you to know that I just copied and pasted, and I just saw nothing change at all. So I don't know what I did wrong.
That's fine. Go over to your browser.
Okay, so, and that's the thing. So originally when we started, I was in Safari, and then remember you had me download Chrome?
Yep.
So I didn't know which one I was supposed to be in. This is the Safari.
Okay.
Move my head up.
Go to Chrome, just because that's probably where we want to be most of the time. And you see where it says 5600 up in the URL, right up here? Change that to 5500. So 5600 is always going to be the port number that I'm on. 5500 is going to be yours. So if you hit enter there, nothing's going to look like it changed because it's automatically loading our index file. But we created a second file here. So what we're going to do is click in the end of the URL bar. Well, anywhere kind of in here.
Okay.
And click again so your cursor is at the end of that.
Yep.
And then /bootstrap.html.
Oh, it won't allow me to type anything.
Okay. Try clicking out of the URL bar and clicking back into it.
Okay. There we go. Bootstrap and what is it?
.html.
Okay.
And hit enter on that, and I hope you see.
Oh my God, there it goes. Shut up. Okay. Thank you. It looks weird, but at least it makes sense now. Okay.
Yep. And feel free to play around, like figure out where that extra quote is coming from, or try using some CSS to get some space between the buttons. And you can feel free to play around from there.
Okay. Thank you. How do I?
Oh, I'll end your screen share for you.
Okay, thank you, because I got stuck. Okay.
All right. How we feeling? We good to move on to the next concept? Okay. Last thing I'm going to throw at you guys tonight is Bootstrap Grid. And before I get there, one thing I would like to remind you is that 30-second daily feedback form, we check that nightly. So you only have to do 1 submission a week, but I highly encourage you to do multiple submissions a week. So like This is a good example of just a rough class, right? Like, took a while to get through it. Everyone got stuck at a different point. Some of that I think is just necessary. If it's remote, it's getting your dev environment set up. It's always frustrating, but your feedback is always very much welcome, right? So like, even if you're like, my God, Max did a terrible job tonight, I want to let him know of that. Go into the feedback survey. You can leave your name off of it. It's completely anonymous. If you do, we cannot see who submitted it, and just leave a note, right? Even if you don't know how to improve it, if you just want to vent about how class went, you're welcome to use that form there, right? We are always about incorporating feedback in and making the program better. So that 30-second feedback form, instead of us sending it every night, because we may forget to do that, if you are in Canvas and you go to your modules or to your home screen, you'll see that there's a little link here for daily feedback, and that's going to pop you right into the form. If you leave this blank, which the form will allow you to do, that will make the whole form submission anonymous. If you do put your name on it, that gives us the chance to reach out to you and address the feedback directly. But anonymous feedback is also completely welcome. So those form submissions do not need to be done every night, but they should be done at least once a week. Okay, now that I have touched on that, we are going to watch a YouTube video on the Bootstrap grid. Karen is not in class tonight, but this is her favorite YouTube resource. So I'm going to pause the recording and kick that video off. That's all we're going to cover for tonight, right? So the grid is super flexible. He goes on to talk about how to position things in the grid, how to get things aligned, all kinds of fun grid stuff that I encourage you to continue learning from. However, I am going to kind of demo this, and then I'm going to create one homework assignment. You guys thought you were off scot-free tonight. The homework assignment is going to just be getting a grid working and having some borders show up. So I'm going to share that. I'm hoping to get through this in 10 minutes, and then I will let you guys go. Sound like a good plan? Awesome. Okay, so let me close this. Let me share this screen. So I'm going to create yet a new file over here called grid.html. I am going to just do my Emmet shortcut. So I'm going to type in an exclamation mark and hit enter, and that's going to fill everything in for me. I'm going to say my first grid, and I'm going to go back to my bootstrap.html and grab that HTML link tag and dump that right into my head. And because I'm being lazy, I'm going to just use a style tag here and put my styles right into my HTML document. I could create another CSS file, use my link, my href, my rel style sheet, put in the CSS file name and do it that way, but I'm going to just try and keep it all contained here, right? So I'm going to do a div class equals row, and the reason I'm doing a row is because you cannot use a column unless you put that column in a row. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new div class, and I'm going to say, hey, we're going to start out with two columns right next to each other. So we're going to say row 1, col 1, and we're going to do another div class, and we're going to make that a col as well. And we're going to say row 1, col 2. So I'm going to go back to my browser. I'm going to try and find, I don't have my live share open, so that's not a problem. I'm going to go to my localhost 5600/grid.html. Keep in mind, your localhost will be 5500. It's just 5600 for me because I'm sharing. I'm going to pop that open, and you see I've got my row 1 and my row 2. Those are side by side, but it's really hard to visualize where those columns are, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to target my col, and I'm going to say, hey, my col is going to have a border around it, and it's going to be 1px. Let's make it 3px so we can see it. And we can make it dashed, and we're going to make it red. And so now you can see where my two columns are, right? But let's also do that for our row. Let's see where our row is at. So for that, I'm going to do a border. I'm going to make that 3px as well. I'm going to make that solid, and I'm going to make that blue. And so now you can see my two rows, my two columns. From there, if I would like this to take up 25% of the screen and this to take up 75% of the screen, I'm going to adjust it. And I'm going to say, hey, this is only going to be 4. Why? Because 4 divided by 12 is 25%. And this, I'm going to make an 8. And now, I need to adjust this to say, hey, I would like this to show up on my 4, and I would like it to show up on my 8 as well. And now you can see, hey, our column widths have changed. Now, the last thing he touched on is, and I'm just going to duplicate this code so you've got an idea of, hey, we can do multiple rows, and we could flip those and say, hey, I would like this to be an 8 and this to be a 4. Okay, so what happens if we're in here and we say, hey, on super small screens, I would like them to be stacked on top of each other, but on wider screens, I would like them to be side by side. Well, what we can do is add a class in here and say, hey, on extra small screens, I would like it to be full width. On smaller screens, I would like them to be side by side. And on medium screens, I would like them to show up super tiny, just for the sake of it. Well, we're going to come down here and match that and say on small screens, I want it to be the full width of the row. I want it to be all 12 columns wide. On smaller screens, I would like them to be equal side by side. And on medium screens and up, I would like them to be equal but tiny right next to each other, a 2 and a 2. So when I save this, I need to just update my classes here. I'm just gonna say, so we can visualize all of this, call XS 12, call SM6, and call MD2. Okay, so I'm going to start at the biggest screen, and you'll see they're side by side, right? A 2, and you can see how 8 more of them could fit in over here, right? So now I'm going to shrink it down, and this is called a breakpoint. I'm going to hit that breakpoint where my code is going to break the columns up differently. Now this is considered a smaller screen size. So that looks like a 6 and a 6 because we've got our 6 and our 6 here. But when I keep going down and hit a small screen size, this is now a 12. It's spanning the whole width. And because there's no room left, we're using all 12. This next column, which is also a 12, is going to shrink down there. So hopefully that gives you an idea of starting to work with mobile responsiveness, right? And if you load any website, you'll notice, oh, that menu bar shows up on the side of Facebook, right? But if I shrink my screen down enough, that menu bar disappears and it goes up into the header, right? Or, oh, when I fill out a contact form, first name and last name are right next to each other, but if I'm on a small enough screen, last name isn't going to be side by side next to first name, it's going to be underneath it. And that's how we can use the grid to start targeting mobile responsiveness. So your homework assignment for the night is going to be basically creating something like this grid, right? Creating something that's using multiple breakpoints and has some borders around it to make sure that you got that working. So I'm going to go create that homework assignment now. If you guys want to get started on it, it's fine. If you haven't had enough of me because you were frustrated with the VS Code setup, you are welcome to peace out. But I will stick around for 50 more minutes, and I'll be available for questions in 5 as soon as I have that assignment created. Before I do, though, any immediate questions? Tomorrow, we will dive in to more Bootstrap experience, and we are going to create a weather app using the column system and show you how we can actually put a site together pretty quickly and show information in a easy way. So we'll be more hands-on tomorrow.
How were you able to get that link into the grid?
The link, this one?
Yeah, the link for the Chrome.
The link for Chrome. Help me out.
Uh,
the localhost 5600?
Yeah.
Okay. Up at the top of Chrome, you're gonna type in localhost. Localhost means your local computer.
Okay.
And then colon 5500.
Colon 55. Okay.
And then slash grid.html, because that's going to match up with the file that we created over here.
Okay.
The other way you can do it is down here where it says port colon 5500. If you click on that to stop your server and then click on it to start your server again, it should pop it open for you.
Okay.
Okay, give me just a couple minutes unless there are any last minute questions.
Just a quick share on my page.
Yep.
Sorry. Where is it? What the?
Oh, yeah. That's the wrong one.
So this was what I had did when you had.
Perfect.
Nice. All right.
Yep, you use the form input there. It looks like you used a little bit of styling on the image. You may put that in a card. That is perfect. So for the homework, it will just be the grid system. You won't have to upload your Bootstrap playground. But I'm going to go get that assignment created right now.
Hey, Max.
Yes.
Will you be sharing your codes in our live chat, like our student chat?
What do you mean I haven't shared the code?
So when that just a question. Will this still be up? Like if I wanted to, like once I come out of Zoom, would your VS Code be up or
the
no?
VS Code link will not continue to work, but the code in live stream will continue to be there.
Awesome, thank you.
Great question, though. Yes, the Zoom links stop working as soon as I shut down my computer, so they will not continue to work. I'm sorry, the VS Code live share links won't continue to work, but anything is in that is in live stream will stay there in Slack.
Okay. So my next thing that I need to do.
When I do that local host, Max, it sounds telling me that Google Chrome. Oh, it says the site can't be reached or something like that.
In your VS Code, in the bottom right of it, do you have a live share button? A live server button?
Okay.
So
Okay, never mind.
Click on that. That should start up localhost 5500 for you, and then pop it open in Chrome.
Yep, thank you.
No problem.
I have kind of a weird question. Is it like the web browser or the Bootstrap, or what exactly determines that web pages are divided up into 12 segments? Is that just like default? That's just kind of standardized?
Great question. Not a weird one. The Bootstrap grid system by default uses 12 columns. It's 12 because 12 is more easily divisible than 10 is. So like if you want 25%, you can't divide 10 by you can't divide 10 evenly to get 425. You can't. You know what I'm trying to say. If you divide 10 by 4, you get 2.5, right? So you get a remainder. So that's why it's 12. A lot of grid systems will use 12 as the standard. I believe Bootstrap still allows you to tweak that. So if you're like, I don't like 12, I want 16, I think that's easier to divide by, there are ways of modifying Bootstrap to use a 12-column system. Bootstrap actually uses two CSS layout fundamentals. One is called Flexbox, which is what allows you to kind of move content around easily based off of other content. And then the newer thing is browsers who support browsers who use the CSS standard, which is almost all of them, realized that grids were so powerful that they should bake that right into CSS itself. And so there is something called CSS-grid, where you can build grid systems yourself from scratch using just CSS. However, I'm still the believer that Bootstrap grid is easier to learn and flexible enough. So I still use Bootstrap grid instead of using the CSS grid that's built right into the browser. So I think the Bootstrap grid is a little bit easier to learn, still just as powerful. But if you are understanding the grid and you would like to have even more power, you can look into CSS grid and learning it from there. But yeah, 12 is not a globalized standard. It's not up to the browsers to decide that. That is Bootstrap who decided, hey, 12 is going to be our default grid size. But they do give you the ability to tweak that if you really want to use a 16 or 24 based column system.
Thank you. Can I share my screen?
Go for it.
Thanks. So I did, when you asked us to work on the grid.html or try to put a, what's it called? I tried to input like a breadcrumb into it and I got this. I don't know if it's supposed to look like that or.
Yep. So go up to, so that's your grid file. Switch to, oh, hold on. Where did you put that breadcrumb code?
In the body. So I put it.
Okay, so hold on. That's a different file than what you have open in the browser. So if you click in the file path up at the top,
Yeah.
in the browser itself.
No.
And just like hit the right arrow to get to the end of that. Right arrow on your keyboard.
No.
It's going to show you that file that you have loaded is bootstrap2.html.
Okay.
So if you can get to that in VS Code, yeah, that's the file that you've got the grid system working in.
Okay. Let's see.
So here, let's do this. Click on the File Explorer in the top left of that window right there. Oh, right over here.
Oh.
Okay,
oh,
and
there we
then
go.
pop
Okay.
open your bootstrap2.html.
That's why I
And
couldn't.
the only thing that you're missing there is you forgot to tell the file, hey, we're using Bootstrap in the head. So if you go back to your bootstrap.html file here and scroll up to the top and just copy all of line 9 right there. If you triple click on that line, it should highlight the whole thing. Okay, and Command C. And then go back to your Bootstrap 2. And underneath the title, between 7 and 8, do a new line there and paste and save. And then go back to your browser and click on that tab. And refresh. And you've got your breadcrumbs.
Oh, okay. Cool. And I'm sorry, what exactly are we doing for the homework assignment?
Yeah, give me just a couple minutes to get that assignment up, and then it should be more clear.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, assignment should be up on Canvas. If you want to take a look, let me know if anyone has any questions. And if anyone is stuck and has questions, I am available. Otherwise, if you would like to get out of here, it is 8:30 and I do not blame you at all.